Hi guys, so we're still in coronavirus lockdown in the UK. It's made it particularly difficult actually to make videos for this channel, obviously being outdoor, bushcraft, survival focused, homesteading, pretty much outdoor stuff. We haven't been able to do that much for this channel. For those of you that have been subscribing for a while, you may know I've got a second channel as well called Liberty Bunker, which is more about news, politics, economics, which is tied in quite well with coronavirus as well. From just my analysis on my other topical economic channel, we should be aware that with coronavirus is potentially one of the largest recessions the world has ever seen, at least in living memory, if not, well, pretty much the largest recession ever in Western history. With that, it makes sense to start an allotment, start gardening, at least start a little vegetable patch in your garden. So with that, I'm starting a bit of a series on doing a survival allotment. So we're lucky we've had our allotment now for about 4 months, 5 months, something like that. We had it before winter anyway. It's got all the paperwork on that done. We didn't really do much on it over winter because weather's not good, not that much really to do. But obviously since the impact of coronavirus, coronavirus is going to change the world in ways we can't even expect yet. I don't go too much into the stuff that my other channel concentrates on, but pretty much the world has changed. The world that existed 6 months ago, pre-virus time, that was a different world now. When the dust settles, no one knows for sure how the world is going to be different, but certainly the world that exists after the virus will be very different. It's going to probably be, less stuff being imported. It's going to mean governments enforcing, larger amounts of austerity. It could be higher inflation. It makes sense in this sort of environment to be self-sufficient. So that is what the survival allotment is about. Not necessarily growing crops that are like super fancy, but stuff that's real bare bones basics, stuff that could feed yourself and your family in a time of crisis. So like, potatoes, parsnips you can harvest over winter, greens, lettuce, things like that. Things that's like basic and simple, but will feed you. And I'm kind of an efficiency person. I like, getting the maximum return for the least amount of effort possible. Kind of like the no-dig method. So I've been reading up quite a lot of books lately. So we've got the Charles Dowding no-dig diary. I like the idea of no-dig because it seems efficient. It seems like you don't have to put a huge amount of effort in it to get big yields. Got a polytunnel book. We haven't actually bought our polytunnel yet, but that's quite a good book. And a lot of it's in there is like non-polytunnel related either. I really like this book, the Vegetable and Herb Expert. It's pretty old school, but it really gives you like so much detailed information on different stuff to grow. So at the moment, this is really like a knowledge acquiring phase. So I don't want to go too much into what my other channel talks about, like economic collapse and that sort of stuff. But, in a time of real crisis, having an allotment is great, but people are going to potentially like steal your crops and like go into allotment and just like be stealing stuff. I mean, we've already had someone, we think it's pretty sure, has like stolen our eggs since coronavirus hit. One day, like our chickens lay like every day, like clockwork. And on one day we had like no eggs. So on 3 chickens, it just seems really weird. So almost certainly someone went in there and stole our eggs. And the economic crisis isn't even bad at the moment. So it makes you think like in a time of crisis when people haven't, potentially like missing meals, food supplies are being impacted. I'm not necessarily saying that the world will get that bad, but this is kind of prepping, planning, survival, what could happen in the worst case. And it's quite fun like doing the allotment. I really enjoyed it anyway. So if you haven't got an allotment already, I'd recommend like trying to contact your council. I mean, it might be a bit difficult now with the whole coronavirus thing, but once it blows over, definitely look at trying to get one. If not, get a little patch of little vegetable patch in your garden. So I'm going to play a video now. It's just like a little tour of the allotment we've got. A few recommendations I'd say, like if you do have the option of getting an allotment, pick one where the people are quite chilled out. We're quite lucky where we are. People are quite chilled out. You're allowed things like burning stuff, like you can have a bonfire. People are quite relaxed. I know like on some of the inner city ones, you're not allowed like bonfires and they're quite fussy. Another top tip we managed to work out just through having the pony and previously having horses and stuff like that was we got a plot that was really close to the water point because I spent a whole winter's like carrying 40 litres of water across a field just to get it to the other side to fill up a trough. It's not fun. So yeah, we got a little pitch close to the water point. That makes sense. If you have options to like pick where you want, try and find one where you can burn stuff because it means they're going to be more chilled out. Have one where you can have chickens and livestock and stuff like that, and try and find a point close to the water point. Anyway, I'm kind of going to do a series on the survival allotment because I think it's kind of an important thing to be doing now. It's not going to be fancy. It's going to be real like low IQ, gardening, you know, I'm not a smart person. I just want like simple, easy to do, highly efficient, like high crop yielding, minimal input allotment in. So I'll do a little bit of a series on this one, especially while coronavirus is here. There's not many other videos we can really be doing. We can't go to the Cairngorms, we can't go to the Brecon Beacons at the moment. Hopefully we will do once this blows over. Anyway, so this is a little tour of my allotment. Yeah, definitely consider it, because the world has changed. The world has definitely changed. And if you like that sort of stuff, sub my other channel. If you don't like that sort of nonsense, just stick on this channel. Anyway, here's a little tour of my allotment, and I'll see you in a future video. So this is a quick look around the allotment itself. Still in the phase of getting everything ready. Still building beds. So these are a few beds we've filled up with horse manure so far. It's actually a double plot, so we're walking from the first plot now into the second. We've got a greenhouse here. We actually picked this up free. It's amazing what you can find on Facebook Marketplace. So we've got that greenhouse free. It needs a few glass panels in it. That's another line of horse manure. So we've got membranes with horse manure on top. Helps stops the weeds coming through. Wheelbarrow, another line there. So we're still in the phase of getting everything built up. We've had the chickens a while. Chickens for a few years now. We're quite lucky. We have 3 chickens. They all lay pretty much every day. So we got about 3 eggs. We did have five chickens, unfortunately, in the storm a few months ago. The coop got some damage and a fox managed to get in there and unfortunately killed 2. We still got 3, all happy and healthy. So that's a little tour of the allotment. I hope you like it. If you want more, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.